Last time we were able to upload our new photo to the Firebase database and also insert it into our photo node and our user photos node. Now I want to work on actually changing the profile photo of the user. So if we go to the edit profile and we click on change your photo, I want it to navigate us back to the share activity so that we can take advantage of that same screen. I don't want to duplicate code, so I want it to click there to navigate us here, and then I'm going to hit next and it will automatically change my profile to that image, or we can take a photo. So that's what we're going to work on now. And so first of all though, I want to navigate to the main feed after we've actually inserted that new information. So here we're just going to use intent equals new intent, and get the intent and context, and then this is going to take us to home activity class, and then just start activity. Oh, context start activity, and then intent. Cool. So that'll take us back to the home screen. So we're going to start in here because now I'm going to write the other if statement. So remember we had case 1 for the new photo, and then we have case 2 for a new profile photo. So I'm going to copy everything inside of this upload task all the way up to the log, and we're going to paste it. Actually, we don't need the log, but that's okay. So I'm going to paste that, and I'm going to delete the log that I just put there, and we're just going to change this a little bit. So we're going to have to change a few things. We just want to change this to profile underscore photo, and we no longer need this count because there's only going to be a single profile photo no matter what. Let's see, get image from bitmap, scrolling down, uploading the photo. Where we insert the data is going to be different. So we're going to delete that intent there, and we are going to want to insert the data into a different location. So let's delete this, and this is going to be insert into the user account settings node, I believe it is, and I think that's it. It's just the user account settings node. Let's pull up the Firebase database and take a look here. So if we go into user account settings, just open it up for, let's collapse everything just so it's easier to look at. So user account settings, go into the user, and this is where we store our profile photo. I don't believe we store one in here. No, we don't. So just in the user account settings. So this is where we're going to need to insert the new photo after we've uploaded. So everything is going to be pretty much the same, except for we're going to have a new method here for actually adding it to that different section. Create a method called, let's do set profile photo, and inside here we're just going to take our Firebase URL to string just like we did before. So let's create this method. So private void set profile photo, and this is where we're going to take our URL right here, and this is going to be fairly straightforward. So setting new profile image, and we can pass that URL there, and we just need to go myref child, and this is going to be context get string r.string dot user account settings node, and then the next child, which is going to be the user ID. So Firebase auth get instance get current user get UID, and then the next child will be context get string r.string profile photo. So just grab that string there, and then we set the value to URL. So in case you guys are a little confused here, because what we usually do when we are inserting into the database is we're inserting entire objects, but in this case all we're doing is inserting a single parameter of an object. So you'll notice here that I went right to the child, or right to the parameter name. So if we look at the database, I went first of all child user account settings node, then I went user ID, and then I also included this string right here, profile photo, and that will set that single parameter right there. So that's what I'm doing right here. So that's going to insert that. So after it's uploaded successfully, it will insert that new image to the database. And so to do this, it's going to be a little different, right? Because we're actually going to be starting off in edit profile fragment, and so up top here, where's our onClick listener for the change? I'm not sure I said it, but anyway, we're going to have an onClick listener for that profile picture. So edit profile this, there'll be an onClick listener to this, and when we click that, I want it to navigate us to the gallery fragment. So we're gonna get started on that here. Let's see if I created that variable. Yeah, so m change profile picture, got that right there. So let's go into the setup profile widgets method. Let's see if I do have that. So down here we'll go m change profile photo, and then set on click listener, click listener, and we'll go changing profile photo, and we just use an intent, new intent, and we're going to go from this activity to shareActivity.class, and we do intent. So I want to explain this before we move on. So it's going to be a little tricky here because we have two scenarios. We have one where we're coming from the share screen, so like we're literally clicking on the bottom navigation view, and we're clicking on it. Let's give you guys a visual here. So we click on it, and that takes us to the gallery. We have to somehow be able to differentiate between doing that and going to the profile and then clicking change profile. So what we're going to do to differentiate it is I'm going to set a flag onto the intent. So, and then I can catch that flag in the gallery fragment and then decide which way I want to go with it. So we can go intent.add flags, and let's go just intent.flag activity new task. That will flag it as a new task. For those of you who aren't familiar, that will give it a number of 2, 6, 8, 4, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6. That's not really important. The important thing is that it's not 0. Because if this wasn't here, basically if you went to retrieve the task number, it would show 0, or it might show null, I can't remember, but either way, the important thing is that it's either 0 or null. In this case is me saying, okay, I have something that is not 0 or null, and that's what I'm going to use to differentiate it. So then we would get activity, not start activity for result, just start activity, and then pass that intent. Okay, so then we would go over into gallery fragment, and I want to catch that incoming intent. So right here, when we're clicking on the next screen, we only have one scenario. So right here we basically need some logic to say, okay, if we have that incoming intent, then we're going to do something else as opposed to doing what we were doing before. So let's create a new method here. I'm going to call it private boolean is root task, and it's not going to pass in anything. So if share activity, get activity, get task. I need to make a get task method. So let's go quickly into share activity here. And because I'm navigating from edit profile to share activity is actually going to have that task. So let's go into share activity, and I'm going to go actually I need public integer get task, and this is going to enable us to retrieve that task. So let's see, I can just do get task and then get intent dot get flags, and that will print out that number. It'll be the number that I mentioned here, as long as you actually have this activity new task. If you don't, then it will just print out 0 or null, I can't remember. So then we want to return get intent get flags, and then we can go over into our gallery fragment, and here I can do get task. If share activity get task equals 0, then we just want to return true, meaning that this is the root task. Else if, actually I can just do else, I don't really care about any if, we just return false, meaning that this is not the root task, meaning that this was actually the root task coming over to it. So then we can write some logic up here. So if is root task, then we're gonna do just what we've been doing before, no different. Otherwise, we're gonna have a different flow of things. We want to do the new activity, but instead of we don't want to go to next activity, because next activity is only for sharing new photos. We actually want to go to account settings activity, and we want to attach a few new extras here. So we still want the selected image, but we're going to attach another extra because we're going to need to identify this from the fragment. So I'm going to add a couple new strings here. Well, the first one, let's see, add a couple strings, intent extras. So let's go here, and this one is going to be return to fragment, and we're just gonna paste that in there. And so this is going to be get string r.string dot return to fragment, and then the other one is going to be the one that identifies which fragment I'm returning to. So that's going to be our edit profile fragment, and that's it. So hopefully you can see the kind of flow of things. We're in edit profile, we click on changing our profile photo, then that will navigate us to share activity, which will automatically set the view pager to gallery fragment, because by default it will always go to gallery fragment first because it's the first in the view pager. Then in gallery fragment, once it's set up and we've decided that we have chosen a photo, we have our unclick listener for our next screen, where it will be differentiated by the fact that there's a root task or there isn't a root task. If this is the root task, then we just proceed as we usually do for sharing a new photo. If it's not a root task, then we want to go back to the account settings activity, where we're going to now deal with that new image that we have chosen. So I'm going to stop the video here, and in the next one we're going to go into account settings activity and start uploading that new profile image. So I'll see you guys in the next video.